What's up, everybody? Welcome to Best Massage Tech, where today I'm taking a look at the Hound Pro Performance Recovery System. So the Hound Pro Performance Recovery System, or more simply put, the Hound recovery boots, were actually one of the first recovery boots that I came across when I started doing research on these products on the internet. They're a company that's been around for quite a while. They primarily focus on triathletes. So a lot of people in the triathlon community rely on Hound recovery boots, as well as several other Hound products. So excited to get a chance to finally take a look at these boots today. I'm going to start by taking a look at what comes with the product out of the box, and then we'll dive into some of the specifications and features, and then I'll actually show myself using these boots towards the end of the video. So out of the box, the entire system and everything that comes with it comes in a really nice carrying case. The case has a nice handle that has some Velcro on it here. You've got two really sturdy zippers. The case itself is nice and rigid. It does have some grommets on the side that you can put a shoulder strap, which I'll show that's inside the case here. But this is probably one of the nicer cases, maybe the second nicest case that I've seen of all the recovery boots that I've taken a look at. So just right off the box, really impressive. You see, you've got the Hound branding on the front of the case there. There's no branding on the back. This one handle is the only handle on it, but really solid, good value. You've got some little rubber stopper feet here on the bottom just to help protect it when you're setting it down. But then inside of the case, you see everything that comes with it. So right when you open it, you've got a color instruction manual here. It just talks about how to set it up, a couple routines, some social media pictures on the back. And then everything else is right here. So you've got the pump on one side here, and then the boots here, and then this is the strap that I was talking about. So you can just connect this shoulder strap to the outside of the carrying case, make it a little bit easier to carry if you're going a long distance with it. The pump itself looks like this. You got a handle that pops out of the top of it, so that's nice. You can kind of recess into that. You've got a full interface here. This is what controls everything about your routine. Nothing on the back. You'll see it is a corded device. So that's that. And then you have the boots themselves. So you see with the boots, you've got the Hound branding and the hose here. You've got a nice zipper that runs down the front with a little Velcro strap here. These go all the way down. And then the boots are connected. So you've got kind of this little Y connector piece, and then the piece that here actually connects into the pump. So you got your two boots, and then underneath the boots there's actually another little pouch here, and this is just some extender pieces. So if the boots are a little tight, you can actually zip these in, and it makes the circumference of the boot just a little bit wider. So when you're ready to get started using the actual system, there's one piece. This little screw was in the bottom of it here. So I'm just gonna screw this back in just to show it what it looked like when I got it. So this screw was in the bottom of it, and you have to actually unscrew that before you get started with it. There's just a little sticker that says, "Note, before using the device, please remove the screw operating counterclockwise. Insert with a spare rubber foot into the screw hole." So they do give you two little spare rubber feet. You'll see there's 4 rubber feet on it here. So you're just gonna put an extra one in there. I don't really know why this is. It just seems like kind of an odd thing. There was one other system that I reviewed that had something similar to that. I'm guessing it has something to do with preventing either something from leaking or the motor accidentally running somehow when it's shipping. I don't know how that would happen, because again, it's a device that you have to plug in, but if somebody knows, drop it in the comments. I'd be curious to know. Just seems like an interesting step that you shouldn't really have to do, but it is the step. So when you are ready to go ahead and use it, again, you do need to plug it in. So once you've got it plugged in, it will not light up or anything. You do still have to turn it on, and in order to turn it on, you just have a little red button here, and you'll see it light up there to the last settings that you're using it on. But before I get into showing how to actually use it, let's see how you actually connect the boots to it. So I've got the end of the boots here. You'll see on one side of the pump there's nothing, but on the other side of the pump you've got a couple little holes here. So this just goes right into it, and you'll see it's labeled up as well, so you know which side to actually plug in. So super easy to plug in. When you're ready to take it out, You just squeeze these little prongs on the side. So you plug those in. Now the boots themselves, they are a 4-chambered boot. So what I mean by that is that you have an air chamber in the foot, the calf, the knee, and the upper thigh. Pretty standard. Most compression recovery boots that I've taken a look at are 4 chambers. These ones specifically do not have overlapping chambers, so they're all exactly side by side. You do have the ability to activate and deactivate chambers individually, which I'll show on the system itself. So in order to do that, if you wanted to activate or deactivate a chamber, you just have to press on the boot, which part of the chamber. So if you wanted to just do the foot and the thigh, you could just press it and light it up there. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a glare off my lights, but hopefully you guys can see just lighting up the 2 there. The pressure settings, you got 10 different pressure settings that range all the way from 20 millimeters of mercury all the way up to 200 millimeters of mercury. You'll see here on this green bar graph, it's super easy to indicate what pressure level you're at. All you have to do is just press the plus and minus here if you want to increase or decrease your pressure. So 10 different settings there. You've got 2 different massage modes, which is what they call A and B. So A is what I would consider to be a peristaltic pattern. So it's gonna fill in the foot, fill in the calf, and as soon as it starts filling in the calf, it's gonna deflate the foot. And then as it's gonna start filling into the knee, it's gonna start deflating the calf. So it's kind of 1 chamber at a time with a little bit of an overlap between them in terms of when it starts inflating and deflating the other one. Mode B is more of a pump and hold. So it's gonna fill the foot, fill the calf, fill the knee, fill the thigh, hold everything for a few seconds and then release the entire boot and then go through that process again. For me personally, I like that a little bit more than the peristaltic pattern. It does not have a negative gradient compression. So some of the other boots that I've taken a look at, what that means is that the furthermost chamber or the most distal chamber is always gonna have a higher pressure than the more proximal chamber. This does not have that. It's just gonna be the standard pressure throughout the entire boot. So when you are looking to purchase these, there are a few different sizes of the boots that you can get. So they do have 4 different sizes. They come in medium, long, long wide, and long extra wide. I'll see if I can find a sizing chart that I'll just drop over the video here just so you guys can check those out. I'm about 5'9". I got the long boots and they fit pretty well. They're maybe just a teeny bit too long for me. They get pretty high up into my groin, but other than that, you know, there's a good amount of coverage and they fit pretty much how I want them to. They are a little bit tight on me in terms of circumference. So they do fit, but that's probably why they include these, because I feel like I'm probably not the only person that's getting something like that where they need, you know, a couple extra inches. So these will give you about 2.5, 3 extra inches of circumference. So a nice little touch for them to include there. And in order to put these on, you just zip them onto the boot right along the same zipper that's on this seam. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the boots on and then I'll talk a little bit more about some of the features of it. But so in order to put the boots on, you can put them on really 2 different ways. The first way is to just take the boot and pull it on like a pair of pants. The second way is to unhitch this Velcro on the top, unzip down the entire length of the boot, and then put your leg in. Now, a couple of things to keep in mind when you are using not only these compression recovery boots, but really any of them, is to make sure you're wearing comfortable clothing. So I've got athletic shorts on. You don't want to wear anything that's got zippers or buttons, just because as the air does start to squeeze on that, it could get pretty uncomfortable on your leg. So just keep that in mind when you are putting them on. The other thing to keep in mind is that there's not necessarily a correct way between the right leg or left leg with these, but something is important is that you just make sure that the hose is on top. You don't want to be sitting on the hose. You don't want to be kinking any of the air from getting to the actual chambers and making your machine work harder. So once you have them on, you want to make sure you're sitting in a neutral or declined position. So again, you're trying to move fluid in your legs, so you want to be able to make it as easy as possible on the system to do that. And the least amount of gravity to work against. So sitting in a neutral position certainly helps that. So then once you've got the boots on, you can just go ahead and take your device and decide what time setting you're gonna put it at. So in order to decide, you can just press and touch them and it'll light up. So I'm gonna start with 10. I'm gonna start with mode B, and I want it to do all the chambers. So I'm gonna make sure that they're all lit up there. And then I like it at 120. Something that I've noticed with these boots specifically, and I don't know if it's these or necessarily the other ones I've tried, but some of the other ones that I've tried that only go up to 100 millimeters of mercury At 100 millimeters of mercury on those other boots, it seems really, really tight to me. For this one, I feel like I can almost go up to like 140 before I get that same feeling. So I don't know if it's just a difference in, you know, the manufacturer and how they're testing the actual pressure, but even the fact that this one goes all the way up to 200, I feel like for me personally, it doesn't feel exactly the same as I would expect it to on some of the other devices. So take that for what it means. You know, there's certainly, everyone has their own personal comfort level. For me, the fact that it goes up into 20 millimeter mercury segments, I wish I could narrow that down just a little bit more, because that is a pretty big jump to go up 20 millimeters of mercury in pressure each time. But again, this is not a battery powered device, so you do have to have it plugged in. You do have to control everything with the system here. It's not Bluetooth enabled, so you can't go on your phone and kind of choose the settings you want like some other devices. The session usage time, you've got 10, 20, or 30. You can always just turn it back on and run it back again. You can make adjustments on it while it is pumping. The price on this system is $745. If you're interested in buying it though, you can use promo code BMT at checkout. It'll take $45 off, so it'll drop it down to $700. So really, really affordable there. And then lastly, just this system comes with a 2-year warranty. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this just so you guys can see it actually pumping up. When you're ready to start it, you just press the green button here, right there. And I'll try to hold this by the mic here. It's not very loud at all. It's a super quiet system. You're not gonna disturb anybody. You can just close your eyes and relax. Now the way this works is that it's gonna fill up, and I'm gonna try to adjust this here so you guys can see the boots. So it's gonna fill up just slightly in each chamber first. You're not gonna get that full pressure that first time around, but you'll be able to see them fill up pretty quickly here. Because the boots plug together and then into the pump, you get a little bit smoother fill versus some of the other ones that plug in separately. I think the ones that plug in separately fill a little bit quicker just because the air is going directly to the boot and it's not being split and shared by both boots. But overall, you know, these do fill relatively quickly. So it's done one full cycle. You'll see here, there's, you know, a good amount of air in most of these chambers, but it's not overly tight or anything yet. So you'll see it get a lot more taut here in the next round. So again, I have this set at 120 millimeters of mercury, and it's gonna fill the whole boot and then hold it for a few seconds and then deflate. So you see this chamber getting really tight. And you see, when I was mentioning earlier about the overlapping chambers, you can see the very distinct lines here between each chamber. And really the overlapping chambers are just a little bit of an extra benefit when you're trying to move that fluid. One chamber does deflate. It doesn't allow for any backflow if those chambers were to overlap. Now with this system, it does only come with the boots, but they do have a few other attachments that you can get. So they do have a hip system, and they have an arm system. So like many other the recovery boot brands, you can get a couple different attachments there. One other thing to mention, while it is a corded device, the cord on it is 10.5 feet long, and the hose that runs from the system to the boots is 4.5 feet. So you can really get up to 15 feet away from any outlet, which most houses nowadays, or most locations where you're gonna be using this, I would assume you are gonna be that close to an outlet, unless you're looking to travel with this. If you're looking to travel with this, then obviously this isn't gonna be a device for you. You're gonna wanna find something that's more battery powered, that, you know, can be portable and used. If you're looking at using it at a track meet or a football game or somewhere where you're not gonna be directly, you know, near an outlet, then maybe consider something else there. So if I were to offer a few criticisms of this device, I think the boots themselves are just a little bit tight. I think most people are gonna need them to be a little bit wider. I'm probably gonna have to use those extensions on them. So that's just a small criticism. These ones fit me, but there's just a little bit there where I kind of wish it was a little bit bigger. The sizing is kind of a little bit weird in the names with the long, wide, extra long, wide. You know, I wish they just called them small, medium, large, extra large. You know, you don't have to kind of decipher necessarily as much there. I don't necessarily like that it's a corded device. You know, even though it does have a really long cord, it really limits you in terms of where you're able to take it. So if you wanted to use this, you know, while you're camping after a big hike, or you know, if you're wanting to use it after a track meet or something, either on the bus ride home or wherever, you really have to have an outlet. So you lack a little bit of that portability with it. But Some of the positives that I do like, it has an awesome case that comes with it. I think all these devices should come with a case given how much they are. I think the price is really good. You know, I've reviewed about 10 different varieties of these compression recovery boots, and these overall, I would put them right in the middle of the road, but in terms of the price point, you get a great value. I haven't found many of them that are in that same price range that do what this one's capable of doing. You know, you don't necessarily have all the frills, such as the Bluetooth app and the battery powered and a lot of different modes and functions, but it's super easy to use. If you're just looking to get a flush and hold, you know, this can certainly do that. Sorry for bumping my camera there, but if you are interested in looking at all the other ones that I've reviewed, check out my YouTube channel. You'll see all those videos. Otherwise, check out the spreadsheet that I have in my description. It's got all the specs of all 10 devices that I've taken a look at. Because it is a lot of work for me to compile all that information, I do ask for $5 in order to view that. So just forewarning, if you're trying to view that, you're gonna have to buy it for $5, but once you've got it, you can look at it as many times as you want. So overall for these, I think they're a great value for the price point. I think they can accomplish what most people are gonna be looking for. Again, they don't have all those little bells and whistles, but if you're just looking for something that's quick and easy to use, then this might be something to consider. But if you have specific questions about the Speedhound boots specifically, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below. I'll do my best to answer those. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching. That's a review.